Showtime! Now onto the table. The box has like a magnetic closing to it. That's pretty cool. And into the box we have a neck socket and 4 faceplates as well as a hair sculpt. Flawless. So real quick before we get into the head swaps, right? The aesthetic for the hair in itself looks great. It's a translucent blue plastic or cyan kind of blue, and it has the purplish tints as like highlights towards the tips of the hair. You should be able to see that in the footage that I'm showing. But this thing looks great, and I think it could work great as any version of Super Saiyan hair. And there is something like that exists, but we'll talk about that maybe later on. Real quick, I just want to say we're putting the socket into the head sculpt, right? And trying to get the ball pegs from the other figures in. You may have to leave it in a little hot water, not for an extremely long period of time, maybe 15 seconds or something like that, just to, loosen up so it could fit easy. Up first, we have the head sculpts on the Son Goku Kaioken 180,000 power level figure. And right off the bat, the most obvious thing is that the skin tone of the face does not match the skin tone of the rest of the body, and it's very distracting. Now, the head sculpt looks so good that I could kind of excuse it, but I know that other people might not have that same feeling towards it. That being said, going over the faces real quick, it comes with a gritting teeth face, a yelling face, a serious face, and a cocky grinning face. Now, if you really want a color match, you'll probably end up having to repaint the face. Or if you do figure photography, I'm sure you could do something with some type of photo editing and have the colors just match. So this head sculpt on the V-Jump exclusive or the NYCC exclusive Kaioken Blue Goku from Tamashii, this head sculpt was meant for that particular figure. And I know because the skin tones matched damn near perfectly, if not perfectly. Like all the different faces look great on this. And like I said, this was intended for this figure. And there's not a whole lot to say about it. I just show y'all, of course, the pictures and then the footage. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to let the footage, run for a little bit. And then we're going to move on to the next one. And last but certainly not least, thanks to the help of my good man AFFM Customs conversion peg, we have the Kaioken Blue 3 body from Kong Studios with this head sculpt, and it looks great. However, once again, the skin tones don't match perfectly. I would say it's not as severe as the 180,000 power level Goku, but it needs to be noted that the skin tones don't match. Now, a good thing is, even with the 3.0 mold, with the thicker neck, this head sculpt articulates perfectly fine. That's the great part about it. So if you have this particular figure, you good money. And especially since the Goku wave from Beast Deities, aka formerly known as Kong Studio, is coming out, this is the perfect opportunity to get this head sculpt and then put it onto there, And my good man, once again, AFFM Customs, gonna hold you down with the neck peg. So I say, do it. You could go with this or you could go with that. Now, at long last, we have the comparison between the Tamashii Nation's head sculpt and the LEFMA Studio head sculpt, and it's not really much of a comparison to begin with. The LEFMA Studio head sculpt blows the Tamashii Nation head sculpt out of the water. Now, there's a couple things I want to say about this real quick. First thing first, the hair sculpt is more accurate to what Super Saiyan Blue would be nowadays, of course. In fact, just going off of that, on a tangent, the Tamashii Nation's head sculpt looks almost like a Super Saiyan Blue that would have appeared during the Namek Saga art style, with how the hair looks. A lot less definition and things of that nature. But even down to the faceplates, the faceplates are more angular. They represent the art style of Dragon Ball Z, when it has this peak animation or peak art more. And really the only thing I would say that's even with these is maybe the finish to the hair, I have to say, on a Tamashii version is more, it's kind of better in a way. I think it's more subtle and integrated into the hair versus doing it with the transparent hair, which is another difference between the two. But I'll also say this. One thing about this is that this is an old head sculpt and an old set of faceplates from Tamashii. this is not necessarily indicative of what they can do now. In fact, we've seen how they've been selling us the same body mold and giving us these head sculpts that just all of a sudden just look a lot better than they usually have been before. So we know that Tamashii could do it, especially when they bring their A game. It's just a matter of, well, when will Kaioken Blue Goku ever get an update? Who knows? Especially with everything that's going on with the Dragon Ball license. I can't see us getting an updated Kaioken Blue Goku with, you know, new sculpt and pants, whole body and things of that nature until maybe a decade from now, because we still got to go through all the Majin Buu content. We still got to finish Android. We got Daima, all these different things before we even get back to Super. And even then, the Super anime is going to have to come back. But now that I've went through all of that, like, where do you get this head sculpt to begin with? Well, you're definitely going to have to look on AliExpress. There are some AliExpress shops that still have this head sculpt. This was supposed to be limited edition, but they seem to still be fairly available. I referenced earlier in the video that this hair sculpt was going to be good for any of the Super Saiyan forms for Goku, and they do. LEFMA does have something on the way called Breath of the Gods, but really, I haven't really seen any updates on that in terms of it dropping sooner or later, right? So that's why, you know, it's kind of iffy. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this head sculpt. If you don't like it, well, then don't get it. Only thing I would say criticism is that I like a lot of other head sculpt kits, this is gonna run you probably just about as much as an actual general release figure that you would get from Walmart or Target, and that's about $35. And sometimes these kits cost a little bit more than that. And I know that, to be fair, people are like, yo, I could get a whole figure for that price. Why would I pay that price for just some head sculpts? Especially if you're just content with what you have already, you know? For me personally, I like the faces and everything to be as accurate as possible to the show. So if there's always a more accurate or art style that I like, I'm a cop it. But that being said, this has been BombasticPlastic, and if you've enjoyed my Kaioken content, or if you enjoyed this particular Kaioken content, then check out my last two Kaioken videos. And also I would say, if you guys want me to do like a mega showcase where I put this head sculpt on as many Goku body molds as I can, let me know in the comments. But until next time, peace.